Hi everyone, I'm Natasha from the Customer Success team at Actionstep, and I'd like to welcome you to today's webinar on tricks and tips and making the most out of your Actionstep system. So today I'll go through a welcome and introduction. I'll give you some example of the tips and tricks that you'll see today, and then I'll do an in-depth demonstration of those tips and tricks and how you can utilize those in your own systems. So again, welcome. And in this webinar, you'll hear our team. So all of our customer success managers have got together and we've tried to think of the top tips and tricks that we can tell our customers that will just help you along your way and make things just a little bit easier. So there's everything from using notnull in a custom list view to making a file note when uploading a document. So the tips and tricks that are being covered today, as I said before, the custom list views and using a not null filter, the automatic creation of file notes when you're uploading documents to matters, using the smart create function and where that's found within your system, seeing file notes in relation to all related matters within one window, creating an admin matter for our trust accounting processes, the quick entry wizard, which is used when we're entering supplier invoices, where you can find what's new in Actionstep and what's been happening, how we add our weekends or remove our weekends from our timesheets, how we can use the copy contact details when creating a contact record, how to add a banner to your matters, and a banner will just add some information right at the top to make it really stand out in relation to your matter that you want somebody to really take notice of. How we use relationships and how we can bring those relationships out into custom list views. And how we can prevent a client rate override where the client may be an internal staff member. So we'll now go over and do a demo for you. I'm now just going to take you through a demo of all of our tips that our customer success managers have put together. Please bear with me. They are a bit jumpy, so I'll give you a demo of each one. So the first one we're going to look at is the not null filter on our custom list views. So if we go up to our matters, and I've created a custom list view to see my referrers. Now you'll see here that some of my matters don't have a referrer, and then you'll see some names. So I actually just want to see the ones where there is a referrer, not a particular one, just any referrer at all. So if we come up here to filter and go to show available filters, this works like a search. So if we click on here and in referrer, if we put not null, and then if we hit submit, this will bring up any line where it's not blank. So this is just helpful when we need to filter through that information. Another one of the tips is if we go to a matter, I'm just going to go to this matter here. Now, if I upload a document, let's say an initial consult, I'm going to upload here, meeting notes, go upload. Now at this point in time, I can add a file note. Now what this doesn't just create the file note. So I'll create that here. And we've successfully uploaded the file. However, if I go to my file notes, I'll see that not only has it created the file note, it gives me a link to the document as well, which is really, really helpful. And that leads into our next tip, which is creating the smart create from the file note here in the matter. So we have this little green tick here that you may not even know was there, and it's called a smart create. So I've just uploaded my meeting notes from today. I've then got my file note and my attachment to those meeting notes. Now, using this Smart Create, I might also want to create a time entry for that meeting. And I can do that easily from here rather than starting the whole process again. So I can use the text from this note to create any of these things, which is really handy. And also from our home page, sorry, from our, not our Matter homepage, from our main homepage here, we have here this Scratchpad. Now, if you're not using Scratchpad, Scratchpad is really, really useful, and it works like sticky notes. So instead of having, sticky notes all over our desk and the cleaner comes and they all get put in the bin, we can use this Scratchpad to make those sticky notes. They're not going to go anywhere, and we can always jot down what we need to do and then do something with that later, just so it reminds us. And again, we've got our Smart Create. So I can use the text in this Scratchpad note and I can create something from it. So this is really, really handy, and it is only visible to you and your login. So you can use those sticky notes for your personal use. And another thing that is really, really helpful, and I'll just take you through the Matter to show you this one, is when we're viewing those file notes. So if we go to a matter, and you can see here that this matter here has a related matter. So there's also an immigration matter. So if I want to see the file notes, I may actually want to see the file notes in relation to all the matters, all the related matters, not just this one. So over here we have include related matters, and if we click on this, this will bring in the file notes from all those related matters together. So again, just another useful trick to know that that's there. Another good tip is when we're doing our monthly or quarterly or yearly trust accounting. And my advice for this is to actually set up a trust account administration matter. And what we can do is we can create a workflow which sets out what we need to do every month, so that if our trust accountant is away, we have a trust administrator or we have someone else who'll be able to complete the process, and we've got some instructions and some workflow there for them. Also, what we can do is create file notes. So if somebody, the principal, has reviewed all of the reports and there's no anomalies, or if we are submitting something to the Law Society or to somebody else, just to say that there's been a discrepancy, then we can file note all that in here. And we can also upload any reports, any submissions, anything we need in these matter documents as well. And this is really, really handy if you do get audited, that an auditor has all of this information in one view, and they can also see where reports have been viewed. We've got those file notes. They can see we're actively doing this process every month. So that is something really, really handy as well. Our next tip is in relation to supplier invoices. So if I come up here and I want to enter a supplier invoice, then we come to this screen here. Now I can create a supplier invoice using this button here, which takes us through a series of steps. So if I cancel out of here, that's the longest way to create a supplier invoice. Another really good way is this quick entry wizard, and that opens a small box where we can really easily put in our supplier details. So let's say I'm just putting in, okay, in our account, I'm just putting in my telephone bill. Okay, then I can use that. I can add everything and save and create new and create another one. What is even faster than that is if you create a template. So if we see up here, I've created a template before for this exact instance. So let's say we get our telephone bill every month. If I create a template for it, then it will automatically give me my account the GST I've used previously, any description. And I can then go through and all I really need to change is the invoice date and the amount if those two things change every month. So that's a really, really quick way of doing this. And to do that, to create those templates, you create a supplier invoice. And we'll just do the same one again. So we create it like we normally would. Okay, which gives us to this screen. Now, we enter in our expense account. Okay, whether we want GST or any tax. Okay, what our total cost is. Now, normally we would save that down, but what we can do is use this convert to and use that as a purchase template. So if we add a title to it, okay, add your title and then save that down as a purchase template. That will then save it as a template so you can use that each month and makes it very, very quick and easy for you to put in those supplier expenses. Another really good trick is just to know that within our help center, we do have what's new in Actionstep help article that is updated. Really good idea to keep your eye on this article every month, as it will tell you exactly what changes have been made in the system so you can keep up to date. Okay, and another helpful tip. Let's say that you work Monday to Friday, which is fine. If we look at our timesheet for today, you'll see, okay, that I've got Monday to Sunday. Now, I may not work weekends, so I don't want to show the weekends. So we can always change this. So if we come up to our profile, which will be our name and our system role in Actionstep, and we go down here, you can see we have show weekends on timesheet. So we can turn that off if we don't work weekends, and having that view would be better with the 5 days, or we can turn it on if we do want to see the full 7 days. Okay, so another trick here is when we are creating contacts, okay. Let's say we have a husband and a wife. So Alan's wife comes in and we need to add her as a contact. Okay, so I don't really want to create it all from scratch because they do live together, they're at the same address. So all of the details I can copy across from Alan, and then I can put in his wife's details, which may be Ellen Scott. So all that is copied over for me. And it's really good here to know that I can add in a relationship here. So this contact is the wife of Alan Scott. And it's worthwhile to note that if I can put in a reverse relationship too, which will show we can put in Alan David Scott is the husband of this contact. However, if we don't, and we leave that out, if we look at Alan, it will show that Alan's wife is Ellen. Anyway, so it will show both ways. So I'm going to hit save. Okay, so really good to copy those details over. Another really good trick with that is that if we're entering a person who we are in contact with a lot due to their role within an office, so let's say we deal with a real estate agent quite a lot, then I can actually copy the details from the company that they work for. Okay, so that puts them in as the employer. And I may deal with Melanie Brown from Elders all the time, but that way I've already brought in all this information and her employer. So again, makes it really fast, and I've got the details of the office, because obviously I'm not going to have Melanie's personal address because I deal with her on a business basis. So I can then also add a relationship saying that she is the employee of Elders Real Estate Co. and hitting save. And what's handy with that relationship that I've found really handy in the past is if we look at Elders Real Estate contact record, we can see all the employees that we deal with from this company. Now, this is always handy if we're trying to find something out, if we're trying to, if somebody says to us something's happened at Elders Real Estate, or we need to get in contact with someone, we know we've got some contacts there already that we can call on. So it is really, really handy to build our contacts and put in those relationships. Okay, we have even more tips and tricks. Oops, missed that one. So another one is the matter banner. So if we come into a matter and we click on the little I here and then go to edit, we can actually create a matter banner. And it may be that this customer requires assistance, and that may be due to hearing. Anything at all really that we want to create a banner for. And we can do this, and this will show the banner up the top. Again, really, really handy if it's something we really want to point out to someone when they're talking to them, especially if they're talking to them on the phone and there is anything they should be mindful of. So that's really handy to use as well. What also we wanted to show you was in our custom list views, we have custom list views for our contacts. Now, we may want to show those relations that we had before. So if we click on, and I'm going to delete this one and add it just to show you how we would do this. Okay, and we call this relations. What we bring in is relations count. Okay, and we hit save. Now, if I hit preview, this will show me my relations here. Sorry. Move the screen across, be helpful. And if we hover over this relations number here, we can click on that and we can see the different relationships that each contact has, whether they're a trustee or a brother. So using those relationships is really handy, and it's something we can show in this custom list view. Okay, the next and final one is a little bit in depth. So I'm just going to move myself to the side. And what we're going to look at is Jane Smith's will. Okay, so Jane Smith is me, and I'm a lawyer at the law firm. However, the law firm has actually done my will. So in this instance, I'm the client. Now, if we have a look at my contact record, you will see that I have a rate sheet override. So I am a lawyer. When I'm working, I have an override rate of $500 an hour. That's what is charged for my hourly rate on any file. Now, because we've set up, sorry, I'll head back to that matter. Now, because we've set up this matter where I'm the client, what will happen is every time anyone in the organization goes to create a time entry, it will come up at a client rate of 500 because that's my actual lawyer rate. But because I'm the client, it's giving me an override. So whenever we have this issue, the best thing to do is to create another contact record for myself as an individual, but have it be a personal contact record. And we may put something in that record just to show that it's personal, even PS or something like that in brackets, and then use that against the client with my personal address and personal email. So we have our employee contact record, and then we have a personal one, so that if we do that, we don't get this override, and it will work exactly how it's meant to. Another really handy tip, and this is just one final last one because I'm sure I've held you for far too long, is our document templates. And this is one I found not too long ago, and that's why I wanted to bring it out. But see here, now these are merge fields. And if we bring this into the title of our template, when we generate this document, it will generate with that information. So if you have a naming convention you use for your document, which would normally be maybe last name in capitals, then first name, then date, and then what it is, or anything like that, you can actually keep that system using these merge fields. And that's something I just recently came across and I thought was really, really helpful and something I actually wasn't aware of. So thanks everyone for your time. I do hope those tips and tricks are useful. Thanks everyone for attending the webinar. I hope it was useful. Please note that if you did register, you will receive a video recording of this webinar, so you can go through this at your own time. Please make sure to sign up for our next session, which is Ask Me Anything session. So we will have two experts on our panel, which will be Duncan and Robert, who are really, really knowledgeable and know a lot about pretty much everything Actionstep. So if you do have any questions about anything at all, then please make sure to go to the registration link that's popping up now, or go to our website and go to events and make sure to sign up for this webinar, as I think it will be a really, really helpful one. As always, if you have any questions, please reach out to customersuccess@actionstep.com. And I hope you enjoyed the webinar. And I'm sure we will be seeing you again next month for the next webinar. Thanks, everyone.